Dear little friends, today's story, The Three Little Pigs Build Their Houses, is really fun. The three little pigs each built their own houses. One was lazy, one was hasty, and one was smart. When the crafty big bad wolf showed up, what were they going to do? Let's step into the story and find out. Once upon a time, there were three adorable little pig brothers named Chubby, Strong, and Clever. Their mother pig looked at her growing children and said earnestly, "My dears, you're all grown up now. It's time to go out into the world, have some adventures, and learn to live on your own. But always remember, no matter what difficulties you encounter, stick together. Help each other and keep yourselves safe." Although the three little pigs were a bit reluctant to leave, they bravely nodded, packed their bags, and said goodbye to their warm home. Chubby was the greediest and laziest of the three little pigs. He hummed a tuneless little song and strolled along slowly, only thinking about finding a place to live quickly so he could go back to sleep. As he walked, he saw a pile of hay by the roadside and his eyes lit up at once. "Wow! So much hay! Building a house with this will definitely be quick and easy," he said. He casually picked up a few pieces of hay and quickly put them together. In no time, a wobbly hay house was built. Chubby clapped his hands in satisfaction. "It's done. I can sleep soundly now." With that, he plunged into the house and started snoring away. Strong was an impulsive little pig who did things in a hurry. He hopped and skipped along the way. When he saw a pile of wood not far away, he shouted excitedly, "Hey! This wood looks great. Building a house with it will surely be sturdy and cool." Without checking if the wood was ready, he started building noisily. Soon, a wooden house was finished. Strong proudly walked around the house a few times and even showed off to a passing bird, "Look how awesome my house is." As for Clever, he was the smartest and most careful of the three little pigs. He walked for a long time and looked at many places. Finally, he found a patch of clay at the foot of a hill. Clever thought carefully, "High on wood aren't strong enough. Clay will become really hard after it's fired. Building a house with it will be very safe." So, Clever first dug up some clay, added water, and kneaded it over and over again to make bricks. Then, he picked up some branches and built a simple kiln. While firing the bricks, Clever also discovered an interesting thing. He said to himself excitedly, "So the higher the temperature, the harder the bricks get. That's amazing." After several days of hard work, Clever finally built a super sturdy brick house with the fired bricks. One sunny morning, after they drove away the big bad wolf, the three little pigs were laying in the yard when they suddenly heard some anxious crying. Following the sound, they found a little squirrel covered in mud, sitting under an uprooted old pine tree and wiping away tears. "What's wrong with you?" Clever squatted down on, asked softly. The little squirrel sniffled and said, "My name is Nutsy. Last night's storm blew down my home, and all my pinnacones were blown away. Winter is coming. What am I going to do?" Chubby rubbed his chubby belly and mumbled, "That's so sad. But what can we do to help?" Strong, however, slapped his chest and said, "Don't worry, we'll help you rebuild your home." Clever looked at Nutsy's fluffy and messy tail and suddenly had an idea. "I've got it. And that's why, do you know where there's more clay? We can use bricks to build you a sturdier tree hole. Nutsy jumped up in surprise. There's some in the back hill. I'll take you there. On the way, Nutsy told the little pigs some little facts about the forest. Look at this sawtooth grass. The edges of its leaves are like little saws and can help us cut ropes. And these purple berries, they look pretty, but they're poisonous. Never eat them. Chubby swallowed hard when he heard this, and Strong poked the sawtooth grass curiously with a branch. When they got to the back hill, the 4 little animals divided the work. Nutsy used his fluffy big tail to sweep away the leaves on the clay. Chubby was in charge of carrying things, and Strong and Clever stacked the bricks just like building with blocks. Just as the house was almost finished, dark clouds suddenly covered the sky. Oh no! It's going to rain again? Clever looked up at the rolling clouds. Nutsy stomped his feet in a hurry. The roof isn't done yet. The bricks will get ruined by the rain. Just then, Strong suddenly pointed at some vines not far away and shouted, "Let's use those vines to make a temporary roof. I learned how to do it when I was building my wooden house." With that, he quickly climbed up the tree, pulled down some long vines, and started weaving with Nutsy. Chubby wasn't idle either. He found some flat big stones on the slope and immediately called out to everyone, "These stones can be used as roof tiles." The storm came quickly and fiercely, and big raindrops pounded on the temporary roof. The 4 little animals hid in the unfinished house and listened to the howling wind outside. Nutsy worriedly said, "What if the roof gets blown away?" Clever had a bright idea and asked everyone to put the collected pinnacones on the vine roof. Do you know, this is like adding little guards to the roof. The heavier it is, the more secure it is. Sure enough, with everyone's efforts, the temporary roof held up steadily through the storm. After the rain stopped and the sun came out, they all worked together again and finally finished building Nutsy's new home. The new house not only had a pointed red brick roof, but also several round little windows. Nutsy held a basket full of pinnacones and said with shining eyes, "Thank you all. From now on, this will be our secret base. And I'll teach you how to make wind chimes with pinnacones." From then on, the 4 little friends could often be seen in the forest. When other little animals were in trouble, they would also lend a hand, just like they did for Nutsy. And what about the big bad wolf? Ever since he was scalded by the hot water, he didn't dare to have any ideas about the little pigs anymore. Sometimes, when he saw the brick house from a distance, he would touch the scar on his bottom and slink away. Every night, happy laughter would come from Nutsy's tree hole. The moonlight shone on the forest, lighting up the figures of these good friends huddled together. They knew that as long as they stayed together, even the biggest storms could turn into fun adventures. Little friends, that's the end of this story. The 3 little pigs overcame the big bad wolf with their wisdom and unity and also helped the little squirrel rebuild its home. I hope you can be like them, not be afraid of difficulties when you encounter them, and help each other with your friends. I'll share fun stories every day. Remember to subscribe to me.